Okay, 12 o'clock, right on the dot. Let's get started. I got some great stuff for you today. I happen to be on my regular computer. I really don't get any advertisements that come through my news feed, at least not on Facebook or YouTube or any of those. And then I go on my iPad, which is actually how I record my lives, and also on my mobile phone, I get advertisements on there. I haven't blocked them there, and I do that for a reason. So I can on my computer where I do most of my programming and stuff. I'm trying to, keep that free, and but you want to. If you're marketing anything, you want to be able to see, as annoying as those things are, those ads that come up like every third post, as annoying as they also show you how to market your business. Now, it doesn't mean, right away people are going to be like, oh, so in other words, I have to kind of duplicate that and start buying advertising. No. Honestly, advertising really even on social media stopped working a long time ago. Even though people buy it, it is exposure. If you're a big company like Coca-Cola or something like that, it really doesn't matter where the person buys the product from. You need to get more exposure than your competition. They need to know that your product is out there, and we even see like those companies are struggling. Look at what's the advertisement I think now for Coca-Cola, like they have 60 different. Hey Michael, they have 16 different types of soda. They've got green cans and red cans and I don't know, yellow cans, or a lot of companies, all these companies. This is one thing you got to get. All companies are struggling right now because of the internet, because of mobile. It's hard to. It's like trying to herd cats, as Jim Rohn used to say, because the eyes are everywhere. Social media, when it was just Facebook and YouTube, it was easy to control. Now you've got so many different options. Well, I just saw something on CNBC last night. Most of the teenagers, and we've known this for a while, it's just become more apparent. Most most of the teenagers are using Snapchat. That's their go-to for social media. So what do we see happening? Facebook is, through Instagram, is doing disappearing photographs and trying to compete. All these platforms now have, thanks for a thumbs up, all these platforms now have these your story of the day, in order to try to keep the eyes in one place. So this was always the thing in business. When you see a platform copying, duplicating what the competition is doing, in computer term or in business terms, that means they've jumped the shark. That means they're trying to. It's the tail wagging the dog at this point. So that's just an indication that their days of innovating are probably past them. Now I hate to say that with Facebook, because every time I say that, somehow they come up with some innovation, but I think it's kind of too late for them. Even it happens with everyone. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't mean that the owners of the company are any less brilliant for what they have accomplished. But I mean, you see it with Microsoft. You see it started with IBM. That's when it was apparent that technology companies cannot hold hold a market for any extended length of time. I think we're going to see the same thing with we are actually already started to see indications that the same thing's going to happen with Apple. It's just a matter of where the dominoes are going to fall. So as much as we'd love to kind of hold on to those things, it just doesn't happen. So in any case, not to keep you for a really extended period of time and ramble here, Lyft it had a great advertisement yesterday, and it just brought me back to why I had to reinvent the way I'm doing my home business. And when I saw this ad, I was like, are you kidding me? A $500 bonus for 150 rides. So you complete 150 rides on Lyft, they pay you a $500 bonus. So if I was recruiting people to my business and I said, hey, sell 150 boxes of whatever and, 150 widgets, and you're going to get a $500 bonus, how many people do you think I would have join my, let's say, network marketing or affiliate marketing business? Okay. 0. You look at Lyft. Now here's Lyft's. I had to go looking for this stuff. Okay. And obviously, these are hugely successful companies. They've got a $7 billion valuation. $7 billion. They've got over 300,000 drivers in 65. This is just the U.S. 300,000 drivers in 65 cities. They do $2 billion a year in rides. Okay, they do over 13 million transactions every month. Okay, that's just one of the rideshare companies. Now, why is that? First of all, they don't beg people to join their business. As a matter of fact, that's probably the first time I've actually seen an advertisement on social media that they actually paid for an advertisement. And there's several things that I've seen over the years of, again, if you want to see what these companies are doing, you got to kind of like get in there and see. It's the same thing. Why do I look for advertisement? Why do I jump in a rideshare? Well, besides the fact that it's convenient, I've talked to rideshare drivers, and I've said that in past, in past videos, live videos. So they're not begging anybody to join. As a matter of fact, most of the drivers actually recruit other drivers. And there's other bonuses besides these. This was the bonus that they used. This is the bonus they used to hook people into becoming a driver for Lyft. $500 bonus for 150 rides. 150 rides. I mean, that's a lot of rides. Okay. You figure the average driver, they're doing this part time. They probably maybe complete 10 rides a day. So how many? Do the math on that. But here's the deal. Like, if you look at most of the home business industry, they try to do a chokehold, like these antiquated network marketing things. It's like a chokehold. Like the same thing when I just said, you know what, I'm going to, now that I thought we were working with a company that, had a low bar of entry, I said, you know what, let me go back and teach the way I was doing things before, and right away, shut me down. So it wasn't my low bar of entry. They wanted me to do their low bar of entry. So there's like this chokehold on these network marketing companies. Oh no, don't try to shift what you're doing at all. You got to follow. Kind of toe the line. Everybody's got to hitch their wagons to the lead wagon and walk in lockstep. But when you look at these ride-sharing companies, every driver that I spoke to, most of them either drove for one and then went to the other, or they drove for both companies. So the rideshare company, they don't care, right? They just need somebody in that area. So when you press the button, right, the driver's close enough to you that they can pick it up. So if you're driving for both companies, I think they probably have something in their thing that you can't like steal customers, but for the most part, the rideshare company does control who the customers are. But obviously, they have ways of getting around that as well. I've gotten into rideshare cars where the guy's handing me his, like asking me questions. Well, how long, are you here on a visit or what? Yeah, I'm here on a visit. Well, here's my card. If you need a ride, call me first. I mean, I had rideshare people do that, and then what they would do is they position themselves. Because they're in the area, if I called them and they were available, they'd be like, "Yeah, I'll be outside your hotel, in 5 minutes." Then press the button. Don't press the button first. So they've got ways of getting around that, and I could bet you people in Lyft who, need to get that extra $500 bonus, they're going to play those games. Here's my card. Call me first. So that's one of the shifts, though, is they don't care. Like the rideshare company just needs bodies, right? It's not their car, right? It's not their phone, okay? They don't pay you to do anything. unless you are active and somebody needs you. Okay, so you can be sitting. I've had rideshare guys that were sitting in their living room watching TV, waiting for the phone to go off. They just log in. That's all they do is log in. Okay, so totally different mindset, where you go from a mindset of I'm in complete control of you. You have to, do X, Y, and Z every single month to, you know what, when you're ready to do the business, these are the promises you get in direct sales, but network marketing, but that's not the reality of the business, right? What do they do? Oh, you have to get X number, you have to do X number of dollars a month, otherwise you're not active. They give you these blah, blah, blahs. You're kind of locked in with that company. You can't, they don't, if they find out, and this is more of a cultural thing versus a reality of doing the business, right? The rideshare companies could do the same thing. Culturally, they could teach their drivers, hey, if you find out, so-and-so is doing this other business, let us know. Like, culturally, you don't want those types. Everybody wants to be able to make money where they're making money. So culturally, it's a detriment to the business if you're teaching your people to rat on each other, right? So culturally, that's just something you have to change internally, and we've all played that game. Okay, as a matter of fact, somebody who ratted on me in the last company, or tried to rat on me, it made up a falsehood and said, "Oh, this person is trying to steal my people," which I wasn't, and they didn't even know that they were in my downline, and they called the company and said, "Oh, this person's trying to steal my people." I'm like, "You're under me. Like, why would I steal your people?" It was stupid. But these companies, this is a cultural thing, right? They're teaching people, let me know, if somebody's trying to recruit you. Who cares? I mean, if you're not necessarily selling, even if you're selling a competing product, if they're doing the job, thanks, Mike. They're gonna go anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're leaving, they're gonna go. So this person who it was up in Connecticut, this person who was trying to rat me out in the last company, I just found out they're selling solar or something, and they're actually contacting my people now from the other company. As a matter of fact, they called my sister and was trying to sell them solar. So I'm like, this is the pot calling the kettle black. You were concerned about me stealing your people. But you don't care about stealing my people. So, but in any case, so culturally things have changed. Okay, so if you're a Lyft driver and you're driving for Uber, or you're an Uber driver and you're driving for Lyft, nobody cares. So now, what's the difference? Like, why? If you look at these things, no one's begging people to come, ride and drive for Uber and Lyft, and they've got like this 300, I think it was like 316,000 drivers as of 2016 in 65 cities. All they do is they post something up. For a long time, they were posting on Craigslist. So if you look at Craigslist and the eBay lists, and so they were posting in the jobs thing. Now, how come they can post in the, these are questions that I started to ask. This looks awful lot like network marketing to me. They do pay multi-levels, even though they don't advertise it. But like, if you recruit somebody into one of the ride shares, they run these bonus promotions. So you can get a bonus for recruiting people. You get a bonus after so many rides, right? What's the difference? The only thing is they're not advertising like that they're a multi-level payment company, even though that's what they do. They do it. Okay, so because they're not advertising their multi-level payment thing, then they get away with it. They don't advertise that there's a startup for their business, right? But if you have to have a car that has insurance and is in good repair, and they'll come and inspect your car, if you have to have a smartphone, a recent smartphone that runs their app, that's a requirement to getting started for the business, right? If you have to have all these things, then there's a startup fee associated every single month. There's a fee associated with being a driver. You got to have insurance, right? If you're joining a network marketing company, you don't even have to have a car, right? You don't have to have a mobile phone. You can do it with your home phone, right? Um, so you have all these requirements. You got to have, obviously you got to have a data plan on your phone. There's an expense there. So you have all these expenses associated with driving. How is that not the same direct sales business model as network marketing? But it's the kind of the point of what I'm trying to get across is they're using a different way of talking about it, right? So these are have to haves, okay? Have to haves every month. If you don't have, if you for 1 month you let your cell phone lapse in direct sales, you let the cell phone, you use your home phone, right? Or you walk down to the local store and you stop people as they're coming. Your business, you didn't close your business because you let your cell phone bill lapse, right? But with these ride shares, you gotta you gotta have it, right? You gotta have it. It doesn't work. You can't work without it. So how is that not the same thing? But they don't say that, right? So what's the difference in your business? You're talking about, right? You look at these again. These are averages. I don't, obviously I do this for a living, but I don't talk about my company. So what's the average? You got to do a $300, $500, $1,000 startup. Okay, what's it what's it cost to drive for? Let's say Uber. It's worse than Lyft, right? I had a friend who sold as a matter of fact he was with me in the last company. His sales doubled when Uber came in the area. Okay, and I'm going to talk about how that happened. Okay, Uber requires that you have a certain year range of car, and of course that changes every year. So your car has to be within a certain age range to drive for them. So basically, you have a newer car. Here's the game that they play. You're going to get X number of dollars per hour if you drive your regular car. Okay, but if you drive a black car that's a certain type of vehicle, let's say like a Mercedes or a BMW or black car, so now you become almost like the local livery service, you're going to make a lot more money. So does the average person start with the black car? No. Okay, they're going to say, hey, you know what, let me give this a try with my car. And they look, and let's say they're making $15 an hour doing Uber for their black car or their regular car. Well, if I go out and get a Uber tells them, you can double that money. So let's say now it's going to be $25, $30 an hour if you have a black car. Oh, okay. I'm going to do a black car. So what happens is they run down to the dealership. They get this lease for the black car because now they think they're going to double they see they're making money. Now they're going to double their money. Okay. So what they do is they start them out, okay, with X number of dollars, and they say, hey, this does work. I'm making an income. And as I log in, I'm making an income. Now this is something you can learn for your own business, and these are things that I've seen these things working since the adoption of the internet. Okay, since like the early 2000s, 2003, 2005. Most of the companies now, they don't talk about the big package up front. It's there, it's there, but that's not how they start people out. Now, why do they do that? Well, it's simple. It's because they want you to see that you can make some money. Okay, so because most people in this industry don't make any money, they join with the big package. They never make anything, right? So you want to show people, hey, you can get started for what appears to be free. Okay, again, if you need to have your car in good repair, it's not free. If your car has to be within a certain age range and it's got to be pass inspection, it's not free, right? It's not a free thing that you're starting. If you have to have a cell phone with a data plan, it's not free. Okay, they put all these, external, they put together these external tools to make it look like it's something you already have. But in reality, people are coming to this business because they need to pay those bills, right? So if you need to pay those bills, if you need this opportunity to pay it, it's the same thing as any of these other companies. People are coming into these businesses to pay those bills. Okay, so it's not that you have to have this. Okay, but with them, in order to survive, you got to have it, right? It doesn't work without it. So this is another way. This is why I laugh when people say, "Oh, that's bottom up instead of top down." No, it's not bottom up. Okay, what we're in teaching people to kind of rethink is, you need to have a way to get somebody to come in and take a look at your store. Okay, how do you open the door to your store? And then once the person's in, it's the same thing. Like if McDonald's advertised that that you have to come in and get a meal, okay, in order to buy anything at McDonald's, how many fewer sales would they have, right? So what they do is they use the meal as the upsell, right? So they sell you the dollar meal. If you look at most of those advertisements, what are they selling you on TV? They're selling you the dollar meal, right? Come in for $1. How many dollar meals do they actually sell? Well, I mean, I'm not going to say zero, but very small percentage. How many meals do they sell? Most of them. Okay, so your average ticket going out the door, is going to be well over, $5. But what do you see on TV? We just expanded our dollar meal. You can get this for $1. You can get that for $1. What's the hook? It's the any size, drink for $1, right? Any size drink that's the advertisement. What happens when you go in there, right? You're not thinking about the dollar drink. So how they got you to think about, hey, let's stop at McDonald's today, or let's stop at Wendy's, or whatever the store is. It's the $1.49 10 nugget deal that's on the sign outside. Get 10 nuggets for $1.49. That's what gets you in the door. Now, is their intention of selling you the $1.49 10 nugget thing? No. Is the 2 for $3? Is that what they're hoping for? That you come in and get 2 sandwiches for no. Okay. So you got to rethink. This is what's attracting people to. That's why I watch these advertisements. Okay. It's not that's what they're using to get people to come in the door, to open their store. How can you do that in your home's business? Okay. Are you going to make money? And that's why I talk about the $10 deals and couple dollar deals. Are you going to make money? Yeah, you're going to make a little bit, but is that like the reason why you're doing that? No, it's to get somebody to try it. So you make a couple bucks, but once they've committed to trying something, and you've opened, you got to open the store. Okay, you got to get people in. Once they've committed to that and they've come in, okay, now you can start talking about the bigger packages, the bigger, right, whatevers. So that's the reason why things have changed quite a bit. Same thing if you look at the Ubers and the Lyfts. Okay, what do they talk about? Not how much their packages, how much you can make. Okay, home businesses stopped communicating how much you can make if you make a sale. Okay, so it's great that you're offering this package for, let's say it's $10, and this is what you get for 10. But how much money do you make, right? One company I was just looking at, it's points. Okay, you're going to get X number. Okay, but how does that translate to money? Well, I mean, if you're doing this balancing thing and you got to get so many over here and so many, you don't get paid on the points. But it's very consistent with, and I can't give it a specific number because it depends on where you are with Uber and Lyft. But for your area, let's say it's $2 per or $1 per mile. Let's say you get paid $1 per mile in cash in your pocket. So you can look at your odometer and see every time, right, that mile thing clicks over and you're driving and there's somebody in your car. Oh, I just made another $1. Oh, I just made another $1. Oh, big difference. What's the home business? Well, you're going to get paid in points, and if you do this and you balance that, and it it becomes very complicated. Okay, in the home business industry, if you do this balancing act and you get somebody over here and somebody over there, you look at these things. It's like graphs and pictures, and these new business models are what? Do a mile, get $1. And so, if you look at the way I'm reinventing my business, how I'm sharing my business, sell this X number of packages, okay, sell this 3 packets of product, sachets, whatever you call them, you make this amount of money. Don't sell it, you don't, it's like if your car's sitting in your garage, you're not getting paid, right? If your product's sitting in the box, you're not getting paid. If you sell, okay, to each person, boom, click, 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 you're gonna make this, okay, very simple. Okay, so bring it down. Make your business simple. Simple. Okay, these new business models are simple. All right, they make it look like it's free. Okay, but you got to have a car, you got to have a phone, you got to make it simple. Okay, make these things simple for your friends and relatives. Make the compensation plan simple. And it's the same thing. Drive a mile, get paid. They're not thinking about all this other stuff that, maybe somewhere down the road, become a supervisor, or area district manager, all these other things. Those things become opportunities later. Okay, they're thinking, if I drive a mile, I'm going to get paid $1. You have to bring that back to your own business. If I move 3 satchels of product, I'm going to get X number I'm going to make $1. Okay, that's what people want to know. So they can start divvying these things up into, let's say, take a box of 30, and so 30 becomes $10 extra in their pocket. Very simple. It's very, very simple. Everything's got to become, very to how, how do I make money doing this? It's going to cost me X. I'm going to make Y, and I have to talk to 10 people to do that. Okay, I have to get these out to 10 people, and the 10 people are not going to put up a resistance because of the, it's because it's a, $300, $500, or $1,000 to get started. Okay, so not that obviously people will do that, but it's just counterintuitive to the way people know that the world works. The internet screwed it up for all of us. Okay, people know how the way the world works now. You can't stop them from figuring it out or learning it. Right? Before, we used to be islands, right? And that's when the hotel meetings worked really well. So you got island here. Okay, trying to get these in both. Okay, island here, no connection in between. The only connection in between was, let's say, that hotel meeting. Okay, that happens, every other week or whatever, every week, whatever it was. So that's how the people from the island, both islands, would kind of like get their boats to get in a row, and they'd go to this meeting, and somebody would tell them the way it's working for the company. But they were islands, other than this connection in between, which was that meeting. But that stopped. That ended. So now you got an island with the internet and an island with the internet, and they're swimming over to this. Let's say they don't even need to leave the island anymore, right? That's why the hotel meetings are not working like they used to. People don't have to leave their island to get their information, and most definitely it doesn't matter what they're saying on the island. If what they're saying in this hotel meeting doesn't jive with everything else that they're seeing in the rest of the world, again, unless they're functioning as an island, and you still have people that do that, but that list of people is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? There's smaller groups of people that don't Google stuff. People have pretty much figured out, I don't have to ask anybody for or what was there was a meme going around here, let me Google that for you. Because people have pretty much figured out that, they don't need you to get the answers anymore. So there's fewer and fewer people looking to you to get the answers, because they can get it themselves online. So in any case, I promised you so if you sit here and listen to me babble for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, today it's going to be 30 minutes, I'm going to give you some really great advice. And there's a lot of companies that are teaching people how to do passive what they call passive connections, passive advertising on social media. Why? Because you can do it on your own page. It's free. And so they can basically tell you, look, you can do this totally for free. We'll give you the little memes or whatever that you post on your page, and so what do you see? It's a lot of testimonials and like what specials are happening with the product. So you see all these things like there's certain companies that are doing. You could see, who they are. They're posting all the time. This person, look at their age difference, or look at how much weight they lost, or so they're doing this all day long with cute what you call it, hashtags and things like that. But the reality is like no one teaches. I'm gonna say no one. Few people teach how to get more eyes on those. So let's say today the average person has, let's say, 500 friends on Facebook. Okay. I'm going to give you some insider secrets on using these social media. And whatever your favorite, it doesn't have to be Facebook, but I'm doing this on Facebook and YouTube. So if YouTube is your go-to place to connect with people, then do it through, if Snapchat's your go-to place, then use Snapchat. Because the people you connect with generally are going to be doing the same, because we kind of like travel in circles. So like a lot of in my age group, it's Facebook. A lot of people, younger generation, teenagers, as I said in CNBC, the go-to connection place for teenagers is Snapchat. So if you're a teenager or somewhere around that age group, then use Snapchat. Do the same thing. Doesn't matter what the social media thing is. It's just that the people in your circle, keep in mind, people in your circle are going to travel in certain circles. Okay, so people in my circle are not going to do it as quickly for Snapchat as they would for Facebook. Okay, people in the younger generation, under 20 or in that 20, 21, 22, that's going to be Snapchat's going to be their kind of their go-to place. So you could do this exact same thing in Snapchat, with Snapchat, or with YouTube, or with Instagram, or whatever tomorrow's social media thing is going to be. Okay, you need a way to get more eyes on that channel. Okay, so if you're doing it passively, what's going to happen? You're going to be posting and posting and posting and posting and posting, and eventually the person is, this is the gauge, after about 13 exposures, okay, of your passive connection, you're going to get, if the person's remotely interested, they're going to jump at it. Okay, if they haven't jumped by 30 exposures, they're just never going to do your business. Okay, this is marketing 101 stuff. Okay, so by 30 exposures of your passive, testimonials, and this is what Betty did, and this is what Joe did, and look at all the weight loss, and if they've been exposed to your thing more than 30 times and they haven't jumped, chances are they're never going to jump. I mean, unless there's some major shift in their life. And this is the reason why most people try this stuff and then quit, because they can't figure out, I've got 1,000 people like looking at this thing every single day, and why aren't they jumping? Well, if they've seen it 30 times and they haven't jumped by now they're just basically have tuned it out. All right, so they're not even seeing your post anymore, or they've stopped following you because they got tired of your company posts. Like that's what's driving your newsfeed is company posts. Chances are, if it's not your mother, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, they've probably stopped following you. So they're not even seeing your posts anymore. But there's a way to get fresh eyes, okay, on your posts every single day, and it's very, very easy to do. And it doesn't require any advertising or any of that stuff. So how many times do you run into somebody out and about, and for whatever reason you've started a conversation? Or could be how long the line is at the grocery store, right? You're in line at the grocery store, and it's like, oh, the person in front of you is like, they're going, like this, and you say, yeah, the lines are, this is crazy. Why don't they open up another register? And the person responds to you, and you started a conversation with this person. Now, what happens? The average person, the stranger now walks away, and you have no connection with them at all. Now, it gets weird, okay, when if you say to that person, hey, we've had such a great conversation, why don't you give me your phone number? And all right, so that's kind of like what, squishy, okay, it's weird, squishy, because now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to stay connected to this person. So it might be like, well, can I give you my email? Or, or they're like, what's this? Like, why do they want to stay connected with me? You can change that by using a intermediary platform that's, thanks, Mike. Mike said all the time, you can use an intermediary platform that's not, what do you call it, like an aggressive type of approach to somebody. And social media platforms, we've done this for a long time. People ask me, like, how do you expand how did you get up to like 15,000 people on Twitter and things like that? You do it passive, just like you're doing passive advertising on your Facebook page. You could do passive leads, okay, passive connections, and you use these platforms to do a passive connection. So how do you do that? Okay, instead of saying, hey, we just had this really great conversation, you're just like me, waiting in line. Do you mind if we stay connected on X? Okay, passive. Okay, we've done this in business for a long time. All right, you walk in the store for a long time before Facebook really started charging. What happened? You walk up to the front door or somewhere, there was a sign inside that said, hey, connect with us on what? Facebook. Okay, connect with us on whatever. It was Facebook, I think, for a while, and then it was Facebook and Twitter for a while, and then of course Facebook started charging, and people were kind of like, I don't really know how to use. A lot of the older generation, my age, don't really know how to use Twitter. They think that you have to, that there has to be a two-way conversation for a business, and there doesn't. It doesn't have to be. So they don't know how to position Twitter. Okay, and Twitter and LinkedIn are my two biggest platforms. So if you learn how to do it, if you look at every major leader in the world, they have what? A Twitter. Okay, you can connect with them on Twitter, including the President of our United States. So he's got two Twitter. So do the math on that, and he doesn't even know how to use them. Okay, so you don't have to know how to use them to do the communications part. But this is just so easy to do, and I can guarantee you over the next year, you can double your connections and double your exposures, and always have new people looking at your passive advertising on what? Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, right? You could use any one of these things and say, hey, do you mind if we stay connected on this platform? And let's use Facebook. Do you mind if we stay connected on Facebook? Okay. So how do you do that? Well, the next step is, here, let me text you my Facebook account. Okay. Let me text you my Facebook account. So you don't have to ask them any information or any other stuff. So you've seen this person. You've had a quick conversation with them. So what are they going to do? They're going to give you their phone. You don't have to ask their name or anything. It's very passive. It's a passive way to do it. So now the people who have my card, my mobile card, you can just send them the mobile card. Again, you don't have to have a mobile. You just use whatever your Facebook link is, or your Snapchat, or Snapchat's easy. Okay, so younger generations, they're going to get this thing right away, right? What do? You don't even have to ask them anything. That's the great thing with Snapchat, and that's why it's going so fast. Because what do? You hold up your phone with the little barcode on it. And you say, here, just take a snap of this. Okay, now you've just connected them to your daily story. Okay, so you've exposed somebody. You see that? You just exposed somebody. So now, if it's people in my generation and they're using Facebook, okay, I don't have to ask them their name or anything, because what's going to happen? If they're really interested in staying connected, they're going to connect. They're going to send you a friend request, okay, and now you've got all their information. You've got everything you need to have for them to see your passive advertisement. See where I'm going? Mike gets it. Mike gets this stuff anyway. But see, this is where you can now start dramatically increasing leads for free. What do you think, Mike? This is a good tip, huh? Passive, and so you haven't really alerted them to anything. Hey, join my business, and what happens? Now you've got ultimately 30 exposures. Thanks for the thumbs up. You get 30 exposures for this person, okay? And if you do this even a few times a week, what happens? Your friends list is going up and up and up. So I'm going to give you one last inside secret here. If you look at people that have 4,000 or 5,000, 4,000 or 5,000, oh, I'm getting low on batteries too, 4,000 or 5,000 people on their friends list, look to see how much they travel. Because a lot of times what these people are doing is they're convincing other people to let them come to their events, okay? And then they're connecting with people at these events, okay? What they call like-minded people. I try to get away from these terms, but that's how they're doing it. They're going to these events and they're connecting with, let's say, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in a day, okay? And saying, hey, here's my Facebook. Connect with me on Facebook. And because they're, now the person who they trust, who ran this event, invited them to the thing, they've instantly become a authority as far as everyone's concerned. And so now when they're dripping on them on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever it happens to be, right, they start dripping on that person, they come in as an authority. So again, it's harder to get into that position, but if you want to get in that position, what's the easiest way to do that? Look like an authority. Okay, look like an authority on your social media. That's why you look at these people, they don't have a hidden friends list, right? They don't have a hidden friends list. You can see they have 5,000, 4,000, 5,000 people on their friends list because it makes them an authority. All right. What does network marketing teach people? Oh, it's counterintuitive to being social to start with. All right. And I keep telling people, stop hiding your friends list. That's crazy. You're not an authority to anyone. Okay. Except that little circle of 20 people who keep liking your stuff that's already buying your stuff. Right. It's the idea to make money in this industry or any industry is fresh people coming in all the time looking at your stuff. And I'm going to end it there. So have a great day. I hope these are two really big ones that people pay for. So have a great day.